Well, good morning. Welcome, everybody. Today's February 19th. I'm broadcasting from Los Angeles live. Welcome to the Fifth Dimensional Academy of Higher Consciousness. Nice to see you all on this beautiful, sunny Southern California day. I know most of you are from Scandinavia or different parts of the world. But finally, the sun showed up, and we're kind of sun worshippers here in California. So we have very little. We can't tolerate bad weather for too long. Everyone starts complaining. There's a couple of different things that I like to talk about. Hilda brought up a subject about if I can talk about the observer, which I'll be more than happy to talk about it, and as well as all the babble and all the blah, blah, blah that we keep hearing in our minds on a continuous basis. So let's talk about the observer. Let's talk about the place, this space that we basically permanently living in, and we're staying in this place. That's our permanent place. That if you go one step back beyond, because what is going on, what's in the front is the stream of thoughts, where there's continuously thoughts are passing through, and it's like streaming down. It's like a radio station which is continuously on, and it's just going like blah 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 from the time you're waking up in the morning, or even when you're sleeping at night. You're having these stream of thoughts going through your mind. But let's say you wake up in the morning and you're going to start doing your routine. You get up, you go in the bathroom, shower, and you're taking your shower, you're getting ready for the day, and you are not present with the feeling of the water hitting your face, hitting your body, being in a shower, taking a nice warm shower. You're not being there. And all you're thinking about is, what is it you need to do? You have to send emails, you have appointments, you need to make a phone call, and all the stuff you need to do when you go to work. You got to go pick up your kids, you got to make some food. So you're not there. If you pay attention to this, you notice that even with very simple things, very elementary things during the day, that doesn't really require a lot of effort. What you can do is you can turn the poison to medicine. That what you can do is basically bring your awareness in that moment, and just you are in a shower and the water is pouring down, and just enjoy the moment of taking a nice warm shower for a few minutes, and just get out of the stream of thoughts. Notice the stream of thoughts, disconnect from it, and for those few moments, just enjoy the shower. Then you get out of the shower and you're doing the next thing, whatever the next thing is. You're making breakfast, okay? And again, the mind goes into this other place, gets dissolved into the stream of thoughts, thinking about all the issues or things that we have to deal with. And then again, once you catch yourself, you do the same thing. You bring yourself back and into the moment of making breakfast, or let's say you made eggs, and now you're eating the eggs, and just enjoy the eggs. Look at the texture of them. You add salt, pepper to it, whatever you do, and just be present with it as much as you can. You made yourself a cup of tea and you're drinking your tea or coffee. Just enjoy the coffee. Just be present with it. Even if it's for a few moments that you're going to be doing it. So once you start to implement this in your daily life, what you're doing is you're creating a situation that consciously you're creating, because these are like unconscious patterns of doing things. Like unconsciously you go and take a shower, you wash your hair, you condition your hair, you do everything, you come out, you dry your body, you dry your hair, you put your clothes on, you make your breakfast. This is happening unconsciously, and it doesn't require much of an effort or much of presence when you're doing it. But if you bring awareness into it, so what happens is you have shifted something. What you have shifted is now from being on the front means, what I mean is instead of being identified to the stream of thoughts that is going through your mind. So you're lost in your thoughts and your body is unconsciously is doing something. Your body is unconsciously is getting itself ready, is making breakfast, or getting behind your car, your vehicle, and driving to work, right? Now you bring awareness. So what happens is that you are taking the back seat. Means you have gone into the place of the observer. You have gone into the space of the being. You have gone into the presence and identifying with the presence instead of the unconscious stream of thoughts that automatically is, we become identified and we become that. And the stream of thoughts is not here, it's not present. It always has something to do with the past or the future. So when you make this as a practice to yourself, you create this practice. What you do is eventually, as time goes by, you find yourself more and more settling into the presence, settling into the observer rather than being identified. Rather than being your thoughts, you have taken a step back and you are identifying more, and you're taking more time with who you really are. You're coming back into the presence. Does this make any sense? Anybody? Yeah. Now, you can take this further and bring it into different aspects of your life. Of course, you go for a walk. These days, if we go for a walk, we're going a long walk, most people are on their cell phone, or they're sending a text message, or they're listening to music, or they're making phone calls, or things like that. Now, what you can do again is you can take a period of time, and if you can't do it the entire time, you go for a walk for an hour, for half an hour. Let's say you can't do the whole time. Fine. Take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and tell yourself that in this 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I'm not going to make any phone calls. I'm not going to check my phone. I'm not going to listen to music. I'm just simply going to step back and I'm going to come to this place. We call it the observer or the presence. So you step back, you come to the presence of who you are, and you operate from that place. Now you're walking and you're present and you're looking around and you're really looking at the trees, you're looking at your pathway, if there are flowers, if there's snow, whatever it is, you're listening to the birds, you're listening to the nature, or whatever sound is out there. You're just being completely present with what is happening in your surrounding and yourself, instead of getting identified with your thoughts, instead of getting lost into the stream of thoughts of what am I going to do, where am I going to go, what's the next thing I need to do, and blah, 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 blah. Is this making any sense? Yeah, good. Yeah, you have a question, Charlie? What's that? I unmuted you. No, I can't hear you. So it's an active participation into, because a lot of you who've been with me, and we talked about this many times, already have a good idea about the observer, the true part of yourself, the presence, that there is this part of you, this part of me, that it's always present and is always here. And because of this part, this is our, let's say, the focal point within ourself, that we call it the observer, the witness. Because of this part of ourselves, we're capable, it gives us the ability to witness and measure our ups and downs. So if you're up, we can talk about whether it's emotional or if it's mental. It's thoughts, or it's emotion that you get a feeling that you wake up in the morning and you're feeling down, or you're feeling depressed, or whatever it is. So now I wake up in the morning, and as I wake up in the morning, for whatever reason, whether the weather is bad or whatever, it doesn't matter what the reason is. There's millions of different reasons. I wake up in the morning and I feel depressed. I feel down. And what typically I do, or any person does, is you report to yourself, you mention to yourself that, I feel so depressed, I feel really sad, I feel like shit. It's an announcement that we make to ourselves regarding our state of being, regarding of how we feel. Now, this is an observation. I wake up in the morning and I am observing an emotion that is passing through me, a state of feelings that I'm in it. And I've noticed it. And I'm reporting to myself that this is how I feel. Okay? So something, a mechanism, a device, a state of being within myself, something inside me is observing another thing in me, which I call depression, which I call sadness, which I call feeling down. So let's say this one is standing like this and is observing something. This one is not moving. This is a non-moving state. It's like the witness is watching, is the observer, is always like a hawk, is looking. And it's observing that something is rising, which is observing this depression, this sadness has arisen. Because the depression or the sadness or whatever emotion that you experience in your life, it doesn't always stay in you. And it doesn't always stay the same. We can call it rises and it falls. It's like a wave rising and it's falling, or it's passing through you. So when we're talking about the observer, you're the witness, is we're referring to the real you, who is always in this place of observation, is always in this place of witnessing and noticing and reporting that an emotion is passing through you. An emotion has presented itself. So, and then you notice the presence of this emotion. And what happens is, typically, because we're not trained and it's not in our training, what happens is naturally the person identifies with this emotion and the person thinks that this is who they are. As the person is identified with the constant stream of their thoughts, because most of us believe that whatever we're thinking is that who we are. But when we learn this, what happens is we learn how to separate ourselves. So a separation takes place through these teachings. And that separation, this self-awareness, this mechanism that is kicking in, it gives you the tools to identify and to recognize this. That in fact, you are not the stream of constant thoughts passing through you, or you're not this emotion that is going through you. But in fact, you're the observer, you're the seer, you're the witness of this emotion that is arising in you, and it's going to fall. And then another emotion is going to come. Maybe depression has come and it passes through. And then maybe another emotion comes and you may be afraid and you experience fear. Fear has come for you. And then fear can go away. And then something else can come. Anger may come. Despair may come. You know, another feeling is going to come and go. And then you're aware of that one too. So you're witnessing it. But these changing emotions, these changing feelings that we're referring to, they appear in front of you. You're the one who notices these things. You're the one who observes these feelings. You're the one who can see the changing feelings that passing through you, by you. Yet, the observer that you are, the witness that you are, your ability of observation, that part does not change. That's the only thing that remains still. It remains intact. It remains not touched. Your feelings can change all the time, but your ability to be aware of them, your ability to observe them, does not change. It stays permanent. And that we can either call the state of presence or your being. We can call that the observer. You know, we can give it different names. Because that part is really who you are. And this other part is what we think we are. The constant stream of thoughts that is passing through our minds, the constant emotional ups and downs that is going through us, is who we think we are. But that's not who we are. That's a false sense of identification. And that false sense of identification creates suffering. It's the source of our suffering. Because the stream of thoughts continuously, there's nothing wrong with thinking. There's nothing wrong with using our brain to think, to plan things, and using our working mind. You know, I don't want anybody to misunderstand me. That's what differentiates us from the rest of the animal kingdom. Our ability to be able to think and to create with our thoughts, our mind. So that's a beautiful thing. But in the same time, that beautiful thing and tool has turned to the source of our suffering. Because of our lack of education in spiritual life, is we have become identified with our thought patterns and lost into it, and we have been lost into our emotional ups and downs, and that we creates continuous suffering for us. But once we start to recognize this and slowly separate ourselves, which requires a period of time of being conscious and paying attention till it just clicks in for you and it becomes a constant thing. But until it becomes a constant phenomena in your life, it becomes an automatic thing. Until then, you need to consciously put time into it and separate yourself. consciously separating yourself from your thoughts and your emotions by stepping back. We can call it meditation, coming to this place of just pure presence that's within yourself, that's who you are, and hang out there. Hang out in that place. And make yourself become more familiar with that place. And because that place is home and it feels really good and it's your true nature already, what happens is when you step back and come to this place, it's almost immediately it makes you feel good. It makes you feel blissed out. Almost immediately you recognize it, and it brings peace and calmness. The moment you disconnect from the world of the thoughts and the emotions, and you bring your attention inwards, you come back into yourself where the observer is, not what is being observed. You're disconnecting from the objects. You're disconnecting from the stream of thoughts. You're disconnecting from identifying with your emotions, and you're becoming objective, and you bring your intention back inside to where it sees these things, but it's not it. Almost immediately you sink in, and you become quiet and blissed out. You can experience it right now. Let's do it right now. Simply disconnect from the world of the thoughts, from the world of your emotions, and just switch your mind, bring your thoughts, bring your attention, not thoughts, I meant attention. Bring your attention inwards, and just see it for yourself in that very moment. So it's can see like how quickly by shifting things changes. It's almost immediate. And the more you get into the practice of doing this, the easier it becomes. And as you go on through your daily life, in a short period of time, you begin to recognize the space, the presence, the observer, versus the identification with the thoughts. And then the more you do this, the more you start to see and you start to realize that when you get caught into the world of the thoughts, where it takes you and how it can cause us suffering in your life. Now, wanted to also talk about the, oh, hello. Salam Farzan, nice to see you, Mr. Delju. I can see you there. Thank you for waving at me. Most of us throughout our daily life, our lives, we have a tendency that our mind will go into the negative very easily. And it will go nitpicking on things that this is bad, that is bad, the world sucks, whatever it is. It's very easy for the mind to go and pick up the negative. So if you start to practice and pay attention, you can catch yourself and you can retrain yourself by recognizing that, in fact, there is a lot of good things happening for you in life. And I always have to double check with myself. It's like a routine checkup, making sure that I don't go off the line. And in this checkup, if I find myself I'm off the line, just bringing myself back here again. And so this self checkup is very important. And you can do this self checkup every day if you want, every week, whatever. You can create that for yourself and just stick to it. And the self checkup is that the recognition of how many good things you have going on in your life. And just notice that and bring that up for yourself. And be grateful for that, of the things that are going your way. You can do that right now. Think of all the things that are going your way, all the stuff that's working for you. And you will see automatically, as you're doing that, your vibrations can change. Your vibration immediately, when you disengage from that negative world of being focused, especially if you're watching a lot of media, watching a lot of news. And it's all focused on, because there's no end to it. There's continuously bad things happening. And if you're really buying it, then it will take you into this dark world. So you need to disconnect from that. Rosalie, you're trying to get my attention?
Yes,
Okay.
because I mean, when it's happened negative thing, you can be grateful for that too, because that's make you stronger and it teach you something all the time.
Yeah, of course. So you're turning the negative into, you're turning the poison into medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the, look, we have the negative thinking, we have the positive thinking. And normally I don't teach positive thinking or positive visualization. It's not something that I'm teaching, because I'm teaching the observer. I'm teaching no thinking. I'm talking about being in this state of pure observer and the presence. That's the one that is aware of the negative and the positive, right? But a part of life, a part of our lives is that you wake up in the morning and you do a little examination of all the good things that life has given you, all the good stuff that are in your life, and just being grateful for all the stuff that you have. And do your day, continue your day from that place of being grateful that you have these things. You have this stuff. Whatever, your friends, your family, your children, your parents, work, whatever it is. Because you also need to keep this in mind, that it is the mind that goes into this place of nitpicking on the negative. The mind will go into these places. And will say, this is bad, that is bad, da 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 da. We'll start going blah 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 blah. And by retraining yourself of being grateful for all the stuff that are going your way in your life, and looking at it, acknowledging it, that I have all these things that are going in my way, and I'm grateful for having them. And then what happens, it just quiets the mind. You have disconnected the mind from going into nitpicking and looking for negative things. You've broken it, you break its pattern. And then it makes it easier for you to fall back and step back one step and come back into actually the true meditations or the true presence, and being here with yourself and just sinking into, diving into presence and feeling it, establishing yourself in it, operating more from the space, operating more, learning to operate from the presence. It takes time because of years of conditioning that we've been conditioned to be identified with our thoughts and with our emotions, and to be focused on the negative. It's thousands of years of conditioning, and in our lives is as long as you've been alive, we get conditioned by various institutions. Going to school, our schooling is basically designed for brainwashing human mind and conditioning the children. There's not much of education going on in our schooling because you don't really learn about life. You just are forced to memorize things, which most of the time you don't remember it afterwards. So, and you can't use it. But it's a system to put you somewhere for 12 years, to pound in your head continuously, forcing you to go in a classroom and sit down and listen and memorize stuff that you never use. It's not really for education. You actually don't need that many years to learn about life. I mean, in half of that time, you can learn so much more if we were taken into the field and we were taught practically about life and everything we need to know about life. We can talk about this next time, because that's an interesting subject, and it's exciting. We can do that. So we have about 10 minutes left. I want to dedicate this to questions and answer and question. Anybody have anything that you like to address? Anybody's having any kind of struggle with disconnecting from the stream of thoughts, or being able to take a step back and be the observer of the thoughts or the emotions? Anybody has any problems, hard time with sinking into this, the presence, the state of presence? If I'm here now, I can help you with it. Karen. Hi, Karen.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
This thing about, the thoughts and the feelings, it for me, I understand that it's something visiting me and it's going away, right?
Right.
And it's I understand this, to not identify with this, that it comes and go. But if I have pain in my body, then it feels so strong, so it's difficult to disconnect from it. Then I identify with it a lot.
Okay. Okay. So, all right, we're talking about you're experiencing pain in your body, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's make this clear, because I think there's a little bit of a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
So you're having pain in your body, and we're not talking about disconnecting from the pain and not feeling the pain. obviously there is pain, and pain is being experienced in the body, and
Yeah.
it's very real, correct?
Yeah, but I feel identified with it.
When you say identify with it, what do you mean by that?
Um,
Okay, there's strong pain is happening in your body. Let's say whatever the pain is, very strong.
yeah.
You're having pain, and
Yeah, then for example, if I should dance and I have pain in my body, then it's difficult for me to enjoy the dancing because I have pain. Then I
oh,
it then it's like it's difficult to enjoy the sun because I have pain.
yeah, okay. So, but how does that affect the fact that you are aware, you're observing pain is happening in your body, you're struggling with pain, right? There's pain being experienced, and you are aware of it. That part that you are aware of it, the fact that you are noticing pain and you're acknowledging pain, how does it affect that part?
It doesn't it doesn't affect that I'm aware about it.
Right.
But it's not easy for me to not suffer if I feel pain. If, for example, if I feel sadness or if I feel depression, then it is like it's more easy to think like, yeah, but it will go over. So it's not this suffer. It's not the same kind of suffering, right?
Yeah, and I'm not saying that if you're having pain in your body and you are experiencing discomfort, I'm not saying you shouldn't, and that's not right. You shouldn't be hurting when you're having pain in your body. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? By recognizing that you're the awareness, you're the observer of the pain, by taking that position, okay? Switching into, okay, I'm having a lot of pain right now in my chest and my back. I'm aware of it. There's nothing I can do, or I will do whatever. I take medication for it, or I stretch, or whatever. I'll do whatever I have to do not to feel it, okay? But let's say no matter what I did, the pain is there. I'm experiencing a lot of pain. But the reality, the fact that I'm in this place that I'm fully aware of pain is happening and I can see it. But my ability to be aware of it, to see it, has not been altered. My ability to be aware and observe pain, that part remains intact. No matter how great is the pain, or whether the pain goes away or not, it won't make any difference. When I'm taking the position of the observer, I'm observing pain is happening and I'm experiencing it, which is very uncomfortable. But it's something is being observed. It does not affect the observation. Does it make sense?
Mm.
Your ability to be aware of it and to observe it has not changed. And that's where the freedom is. If you start to take that position, that no matter what is going on, and you're in this place of observing it, and then eventually you start to realize that you're really free from it. Yet you're experiencing the pain, but the pain is not affecting your power of observation. Your power of awareness hasn't changed. Does it make any sense? Anyone else? Anybody else has a question or remark or want to share something? And quite often with extreme physical pain, if my experience has been, if I stay really present with it, and let's say some extreme pain is happening, and I just stay with it and I start to breathe into the pain, and a lot of times I notice that the pain starts to dissipate and reduces drastically when I just stay and relax into the pain and I breathe into it. Let's say an intense pain is happening, and normally there's resistance in us. And we're resisting it, or it's very uncomfortable, and we're turning and tossing, and we're trying to medicate ourselves or do whatever we have to do to get rid of it. But if you try this, if you just accept it, that intense pain is happening, and you simply relax into the pain, relax into this uncomfortable state for a few seconds, for 5 seconds. You just breathe into it. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, you breathe into this extreme pain. And quite often, you see a shift happens. And the pain begins drastically to reduce and shift. Right. Okay, so I'm going to start a series of talks here in Los Angeles. Have it on my website. It's under 5D Quantum Awareness. It's going to be live and free, and it's going to be a series of events here in LA that I'm going to be offering. This coming Thursday, I'll be in Orange County. I'm giving a spiritual talk. A friend of mine has invited me to his house. I can announce the address. It's going to be in Irvine, and it's going to be from 7:30 to 9:30. And anybody who's in the area, you're welcome to join in. Try to come a little bit early because it's a small space. And we will have our academy next week on Tuesday. as well as my next big event, which is going to be the retreat in Sedona, and that's going to be from March 7th to the 15th, the essence of shamanism. Excited, we're looking forward to doing this retreat. And after that, I'm going to have the fifth dimensional quantum healing level 1 being offered in Los Angeles. And that's going to be on, I believe, April 13th and 14th, right? Is that right, Miss Shishi?
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, okay. I'm happy to announce that I'm returning back to Scandinavia. I'm going to Norway, Hamar. I'm going to be arriving there. I believe it's going to be April 21st. Is that right, Miss Hilde?
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk to you about it after I'm done with the academy to just finalize a couple of dates and everything.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm putting out my schedule. I believe I'm going to start with Hamar, and then a week in Stockholm, and after that a week in Gothenburg, and the trip starts to go on. We're gonna redo things about Ore and put out, we're gonna create, we have to make a little bit changes on the payment plans and everything, but we are taking the enrollment for Ore is open. If anybody wants to sign up for Ore, I think we only have 4 single rooms for those of you who are interested to join in. This coming, it's going to be at the end of June, I think June 30th till July 10th, which is going to be all 5 levels of 5th dimensional quantum healing and awareness. So just putting it out, and then so you're aware of it. It's very nice to see you again. Thank you for joining me. Our next academy is going to be on, is that the 26th, Miss Shishi?
Yes.
Yeah, the 26th. And please feel free, let your friends know, share this with everybody. Those of you who are going to be on YouTube, just subscribe and share with your friends and family. I look forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday, February 26th. Sending you lots of love and light. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, or if you want me to talk about anything specific, just write on my page on Facebook, which is 5th Dimensional Academy of Higher Consciousness, or reach out to us and send us an email at info@5thhehealing.com. Looking forward to hearing from you and seeing you again. Lots of love and light. Namaste.